soon, just today. Yes, you gon' learn, you gon' learn, you gon' learn. It was just past 1, 2, 3 man with a 4, 5 step to the door like, oh my gosh, just throw that cash in a back bag, run around the back.
Hey everybody, it's Liz from the Lemon Bowl.
Vince from Irie Kitchen.
And welcome to the Irie Lemon Podcast.
All right, guys, this is episode 24 of the Irie Lemon Pottercast. You guys know this already. A lot of things are going on. COVID-19. The kids are in the house. Everyone's on lockdown in Michigan right now. What?
Literally, hide your wife and hide your kids.
Yeah.
Like literally, though.
So it's just getting crazy. It's getting hot out here.
So what happened today, Vince? Fill people in on the time of this recording. What was just announced 2 hours ago? 3 hours.
So it's a lockdown on Michigan about 11 o'clock, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So everything that's a non-essential business, which I don't know how they come up with the list, but they do.
I know.
But all non-essential businesses are forced to close starting at midnight tonight. And so we will see what happens. I'm guessing liquor stores are still open. Restaurants can still take out and delivery. So I have a feeling that like liquor stores and gas stations are going to be like busier for like no reason.
Why gas stations?
Just for like snacks and like whatever, like liquor or whatever they could buy there. People are going to be like out trying to do something.
Is this your first shelter in place, Vince, in your lifetime?
Has it been multiple ones?
I'm kidding. I've never had one before.
I was like, if they were multiple ones, I completely missed all of them.
It's actually kind of cool that we're going to have this like podcast to remember this moment. I know it sounds kind of silly, but like this is kind of a cool. We're literally living history right now.
The scary thing is that like from this moment on, it can get really bad, or it can be like really good after this. Do you think about that too?
I wonder.
At the time of this podcast, we're so early into COVID-19 in America, especially in Michigan, that we don't know what's about to happen right now.
Right.
Well, imagine the podcast pre-Italy.
Right.
You know, so like I'm also interested in like when I look back at this podcast, like will I be in a hospital bed, you know, or like will I be like, oh yeah, that was crazy.
Oh boy, someone got morbid real quick at the top of the hour. Yikes, guys!
Everybody in knowing what's going on.
Yeah, well, hopefully we make it to episode 25. But in the meantime,
how's homeschooling your kids?
Let's see. It's day 7 of homeschooling, day 9 of quarantine. And yeah, so ironically, Vince, our last day of school. Look, you can't be on Twitter while we're talking through this computer, or I'm gonna have no one to talk to. I know you're like going through the gram right now.
I'm looking at my computer.
So did you realize, I don't know if you know this, the day school closed down in Michigan was Friday the 13th. Like, talk about bad luck. So yeah, it's been crazy. Rich and I both work from home. Yeah, turns out I'm not a fantastic kindergarten and second grade teacher, turns out. And it's been crazy. Luckily, the kids are handling it pretty well emotionally. I think predominantly they're just stir crazy, bored, we're slowly but surely putting more structure in place, which kids thrive off of. So I think like those first few days of not a lot of structure, it's just not good for little boys. So that's where we're at. I'll keep you posted as we progress. I might have a cocktail by my side come next episode.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of like memes of like parents drinking a lot.
Yeah.
Like, around their kids and stuff, just because it's like they're like, I can't do this.
Definitely, I think a lot of people are going to come out of this with a drinking problem. A lot of people are learning to cook right now, so that's a positive. You know, obviously, like the restaurant's closed. My business is super busy just in terms of everyone's on their phones now. So people are online more, people are on Instagram more, Pinterest more, Facebook more. People are really just glued to their phones right now. because there's nothing else to do. And they're, trying to stay on top of the news. And since it's a shelter in place, and even before that, we were in quarantine, everyone's cooking their meals. And like for me, what I've realized is now my kids and husband are home all day. So I'm cooking for 4 people 3 times a day. So we're going through groceries faster than we ever have, ever. Because my family doesn't like cook for, like, you know what I mean? You probably just cook for yourself. It's like, I don't think, and I was cooking. I don't think I realized what a difference it makes having them all here all day.
Yeah.
So like we can't, I thought we bought like a lot of food, and we did, but we are going through it so fast. Yeah.
That's the scary part. Like the supply chain and food. I mean, on the restaurant side of things, if anyone cares, it's bad.
Yeah, I have like so many questions for you about that. Tell us about the restaurant.
No one's eating out.
And so why don't you fill people in, again, who knows when they might be listening to this. Explain what happened to you within the last week, and what happened to you, when it happened to you, and what you're doing now as a restaurant owner in Michigan.
So like, yeah, on our side of things are like getting crazy. People are not eating out as much. Obviously, there's no dine-in, so we're just takeout and delivery. The industry, like you see restaurants closing their doors left and right. It's a crapshoot for sure.
I've noticed like within restaurants, there's some that are just shut down the day that you couldn't go into them. Like they didn't offer takeout or delivery. Some are just doing takeout. Some are doing takeout and delivery. And then some are even doing more unique things. So what did you decide to do, and why did you decide to do it? And out of curiosity, just from a starting point, before this happened, because I know this is probably part of every restaurant's decision, what percentage of your business was dine-in versus takeout before this?
There's a lot of questions.
I'm sorry. I told you I had a lot of questions. Like if anyone cares.
30 seconds, man.
What
All right,
percentage of your business?
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me answer them one by one. I'm sitting here. All right. Okay, so the percentage for me, like I would say, well, let's not talk about me right now. Let's talk about the industry, and then let's get to me, because I'm in a unique position. So like a lot of people in West Michigan are still very dine-in heavy. Waitresses, like traditional service, meaning
Right.
waiter, waitresses, they have a couple drinks, they get cheap food or maybe expensive food on their experience, and then you flip the table. So for
Right. Have a liquor license. So I forget there's a lot of restaurants that bar is like probably a big part of there.
For a lot of those restaurants, they're set up that way. So it wouldn't be too hard, but like it would be difficult to switch all their operations to just takeout and delivery, because they still have to operate 100-person, 200-person restaurant.
Right. Okay.
So like based on their numbers, based on their team, maybe they crushed the numbers, maybe they didn't crunch the numbers, but they probably have to like figure out, is it even worth it, or can they even afford being open? Because a lot of restaurants, you need to hit a dollar amount a day to kind of determine if you're doing good or doing bad, based on your employees, based on your fixed cost, based on food, based on season, all that kind of stuff. So, and you have to know what each chair and table produces you an hour or every 2 hours or a night. So, a lot of those businesses, I can see why they didn't do takeout, just because if they're that detailed and locked in, like they need to hit 10K a day. They probably think they can hit 10K a day by doing delivery and takeout. So for me, we're primarily takeout, right? So
what's the percentage? I honestly was just curious.
80% of my business is takeout. Like
I didn't realize it was that high.
Like people always ask us how we're doing because no one sits in our restaurant, and I'm always just like, well, people just buy food and leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless it's lunch, then they might come in and sit down. But like dinner time, we're very set up for to-go quick service food. Like we don't really have chairs. There's not what I would say.
When I'm there, people call in their orders to pick them up, and I'm always like, oh yeah, why am I not just calling it ahead and having it ready? Like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so like everybody just, so for me, like But then, I'm not gonna lie, that 20% of that lunch and dinner, like I definitely felt that not being there anymore.
Oh yeah, I bet. Because every restaurant has, like you were saying, like restaurants already had a low profit margin.
Yeah, it's really like the worst business and the hardest business
Yeah.
to be in on a day to day anyway. You throw a
Most
pandemic on
restaurants
top,
opened out of passion and,
throw a pandemic on it.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot. So like what you run into is like, I did it because I'm an entrepreneur and like, I wanted to give my family something. So like it's different for me, but like there is a lot of passion people who are in it, and you can just see they're hurting right now because they got into business not really thinking about money, or they had an idea, they wanted to make a product, and they wanted to serve people, and like I think those people are at the biggest risk right now because their idea for their restaurant was this thing, and because of COVID or whatever, they can't do it anymore. They're probably hurting inside. So is their staff, and so is their business. But yeah, so our world right now, I think all service industry, hotels, right now the whole business is just taking a big fat L right now. And so, for me, just like we talked about this earlier, just finding a way,
Yeah, finding a way.
being solution oriented. So we did,
Which lucky for you is you're like a master at finding solutions.
yeah, I mean that's all I spend my time doing. So like right now, already we're doing takeout. So I kept that, and I also started doing curbside delivery, or curbside pickup, and now we also started doing Irie delivery. And we deliver all over Grand Rapids from either a $6 to like $10 flat fee. So based on how far you are and whatnot, it's a cheap fee. I'm trying to like keeping it down under $7 or around $7 for a fee. I don't want to charge too much money unless you're like really far out.
Right.
But that's been doing great. Like all Saturday, I'll say 90% of our stuff is delivery. And
Wow, that much.
yeah, so there's a lot of good things with that. There's also like bad logistics to it
Let's
because
hear about it. So, what are the pros and cons of, because, again, to recap, you literally pivoted your business overnight because you were not doing delivery before this.
yeah,
So, considering, I'm assuming your goal was to make up that 20%, obviously you've well surpassed that. So, my question for you is, yeah, what does it take to start doing delivery and how do you determine the cost and all that?
I don't know. Like I'm still like in the figuring it out stage. What
Mhm.
I've noticed is that like, so gas. The good thing is gas is super cheap right now.
Right.
So it's like $1 or something of like a gallon,
It's dirt cheap.
and so like that's great for delivery. The bad thing is again logistics and timing because like, and this is where more cars come in, right? And so there's two things you can't control the funnel, so you don't know how many deliveries you're gonna get, or you
Mhm.
can't manage that. You don't know, or because it's only been a week, like you don't know how many you're gonna get.
Yeah, you don't have any historical data to go on like you
Yeah,
might.
so I can't have people sitting waiting to go deliveries because I don't know how many I'm gonna get today, right? So that's hard. That's a con. Another con is like being able to deliver all over Grand Rapids. Like our times are weird because it might be 15 to 17 minutes one way. So that driver is gone for 30 minutes. And
Yeah. Yeah, because it's 40 minutes round trip to my house.
so like you think about that, then like it happened to us, I think like a couple days ago, like things were just so stacked that like we were behind.
Mhm.
And so people may have made an order at like 4:30, but they're getting that order at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
like I think most people are like chilling, and like when you think about delivery in times like this, I don't think people are just like sitting and waiting and worried so much.
Yeah, the 30-minute guarantee like Domino's had back in the day where you're like pizza's free if it's not there in 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Like,
So
luckily that's kind of nice that pressure's long gone right now.
yeah, and so like that's weird. Um, and then I think like, but the pros are that like we're still able to hit numbers. To be honest, I haven't like looked at all the costs yet because I don't want to. But like, I like for grossing at least, like we're trying to hit our numbers, for like the staff and to pay bills and keep on going. And so like for us, it's just like continuing to be nimble and figure out just finding a way. And so delivery has been a great way of testing and seeing like what's going on. I just don't know like how long like we can keep that up with like one driver.
Right. Now, wouldn't it be pretty easy to get another driver since right now a lot of people are being laid off?
Yeah, that goes back to my earlier point. There's a bottleneck. Well, I don't know how many like deliveries I'm gonna get. You know?
Mm,
So I can't guarantee if something to come out. Like obviously you're probably paying them just to deliver, but you might paying a small dollar amount an hour to make it worth their while or whatever.
mhm.
So then the thing goes down to like, well, I can't dictate if I'm gonna get 30 deliveries today or one.
Is the delivery driver, do they keep the delivery fee? Is that how they're typically paid?
Yeah, yeah. So like my staff been doing it. So like yeah, whoever does it, like they keep it. But um, if I were to get other delivery drivers, I would do like $1 an hour or something like cheap, and then like
Yeah.
plus the delivery, and like whatever they got tipped, like a
Right.
percent of the tips,
True. Right. Right.
make it worth their while.
Mhm.
I mean, because if it's $7 to drive 30 minutes, like I mean, I guess technically in an hour you're making 14
If you have two back to back every hour.
if you have two back to back every hour, you know?
Yeah.
So it's hard to like manage that. And there's a lot of competition because every single restaurant that is awake and is trying to do something is doing takeout and delivery.
Hmm. Yeah. Interesting.
So now you're like, the competition is even higher, right? And it's also people that have money and like, it's just weird. It's getting weird for us. But I'm still optimistic that we'll find a way.
Yeah. I feel like the city has been rallying though around local businesses, not even just restaurants, but I see people getting like coffee to go from Madcap or getting chocolates to go from Okaya or wine curbside from Leon and Sons. It's been really cool, and I'm sure I've seen it, I know as well from just all over the country. I mean, I think it's been really cool to see people really just rally around ordering from local restaurants, especially a lot of people that probably didn't necessarily always go to these restaurants in the past. Um, I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's been cool.
that's one thing I noticed too. Since we've done delivery, a lot of people we're delivering to are just like new people who've never came.
Yeah. And I
So
can tell you from my perspective, I'm in a lot of different neighborhood Facebook groups with hundreds of people, and I'm in many of them. And every day there's multiple threads of, hey, what local restaurants are offering delivery now? I'd love to support them. Because there's just not everybody is like going to organic Jamaican restaurants on a regular basis like I am. A lot of people either cook at home mostly or they go to like their two or three standbys, and some of them might be chains. But I feel like people are really making a concerted effort to kind of branch out, and even like here where we live in East Grand Rapids, like making sure our restaurants in East Grand Rapids are taken care of. As you
yeah,
know,
even like
restaurants really shape the neighborhood.
yeah, even beyond restaurants, like all retail shops are right now are just I feel like we're all feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
Like and so I do appreciate everyone that can support. Like and I think that's what makes West Michigan unique.
Hmm.
That people are who have the means can and they probably will. And so I think that's like great for like restaurants, salons, whoever shop, clothing stores, whatever it is that like people are willing to like support during like times like this. Um, and I think yeah, I think it's cool to see and cool to watch, right? Like humans are dope at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, I'm very proud of you and your quick thinking. You pivoted like in a day.
Yeah,
So
we put it pretty fast, and I saw the trend after that. So
trend setting Vince, guys. It's awesome. Proud of you. Very impressive, guys. He's 23. Let's remember.
shout out to the team because we came together fast, and we still got more stuff to release. But
Ooh, a
yeah,
little
so I think
teaser right there. Was that a teaser?
yeah, a little teaser.
I'm down
Yeah,
for it.
everything we're gonna do third and fourth quarter is just gonna move up to this right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why wait? Like, we
Yeah.
don't know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
But you know, so what about you though? I know you've been getting a lot of like messages. People are cooking at home now. Like, how are you managing like your probably growth as well? Like, how are you handling all of it?
So, it's a tough thing because it's like you don't want to complain when you're busy during these really difficult times. And I know so many people personally that are directly impacted. So I certainly am very grateful for my quote unquote problem right now. But it is interesting just from a business and to your point, most businesses have like I've been in business for 10 years. And there's busy times, like January is my busy season as the healthy living campaign or season kicks off. And there's slower times in the year. Usually summer is slower. Actually fall's a little bit slow too, like in December when everyone's baking cookies. Long story short, I've never had a season this busy in 10 years. So it's interesting. Like overnight, like once the quarantine hit and schools were canceled, like we looked at our Facebook insights and right away they were like up 300%, just engagement and reach and all of that. So it's been a little bit difficult. Like right now my kids are pounding on my door trying to get in this room. I have it locked and they know how to get that door. Like, don't come in. So it's been difficult handling. I know Rich is like, are you done? I'm like, no. It's been really hard. Like right now, my kids that are 6 and 8 are pounding on my door to get into this room. And at the same time, so you said something earlier about, I think you did about, maybe you didn't. I feel like I've been talking to so many people, but I had this light bulb moment on day 1 or 2 of the quarantine from a friend of mine, Kaylin. We're actually going to have her on the podcast in May. Her business is called Sweetwater Floral, and she's a florist in Petoskey, Michigan. So Northern Michigan is a destination for weddings. It's so beautiful up there. And she's a really well-known florist, and she does like workshops all over. She did a TED Talk recently. She's incredible. And basically she was like, you know what? We're all in this together. We're all home. What can I do to be helpful? So she started doing like right away, like going on Instagram Live and doing like a floral workshop or like a floral, like making a bouquet, showing you how to put together a floral bouquet, creating floral arrangements. So I was like, okay, what could I do? So I started doing like right away this past week, Instagram and Facebook cooking classes, like cooking demonstrations. So I have had Asher and Jacob on them, and we've made challah bread, we've made cookies, we've made I did like a Middle Eastern stuffed baked eggplant recipe, just basically showing people what to do with the ingredients that they have on hand. So partly that, partly entertainment. Like we had a big blooper on a Facebook Live with Jacob. We were making cookies and he put the measuring cup of sugar in the mixing bowl that was running. It went everywhere. KitchenAid mixer. It's really actually funny. So partly just trying to like give people some distraction that's like positive because yeah. So I think that was helpful for me to feel like I could do something because obviously you feel right now very helpless. So like when you don't own a restaurant or a brick and mortar, like I have good friends that just opened a new shop, my dear friends that own Rebel, and they were opening a second shop, Commune, last week and they couldn't open it. So it's like, it's hard when you are in a position where you do feel a little bit helpless and your heart hurts for all these people. So I've just been trying to focus on what I can control. And if I can go online every day and show people how to make something that, you and I, Vince, take for granted that we know how to cook. But most people in this country don't cook a ton.
Yeah.
I'm realizing.
Yeah, and I'm realizing too, like I might have to bring back Snapchat Chef out.
I think so.
Or TikTok Chef, something like that.
Something.
People are struggling right now.
They really are.
And if you're gonna be at home with your family, I think that's a beautiful. Because I think one thing I've realized about 2019, 2020 world is like how much of people's personas and life are built on internet, and so they have nothing to do right now. Right, a lot of people are going crazy right now because like, I'm not trying to sound like they're shallow, but
people have done an Instagram Live for the first time this past week.
I've been doing Instagram Lives, and so everyone's doing Instagram Lives. Everyone's doing these push-ups.
You haven't.
I'm not doing them, and everyone's like doing like this carrot or pickle drawing. Like everyone's doing a challenge. Like people are bored out of their minds. And I think this is a great time for content creators or people who have any creativity to like start doing something to get attention, but just know that like so is everybody else, right? And so like now it's even like the stakes are even getting higher, and I think people like you who've just been into it, this is a great time to kind of just like create trends.
Well, I think this is also where you really, we talked with Young last week about quality content. And, I think that your times like this, to your point, it's going to be it was already an overly saturated social media feed. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of food bloggers. Now there's going to be a resurgence of everybody using their platform, A, out of boredom, B, out of desperation. Because everyone's trying to pivot. Everyone's trying to shift. And everyone's like, oh, wait, maybe I should be a blogger now. Or, oh, wait, maybe I should be a famous Instagrammer. And I think this will definitely be a time where I really urge everybody to focus on high quality content that serves people. If you're looking to make something that's like, if you're, you don't have to, but I'm saying if you're really looking to do something that might be more in the long term, or if you are trying to pivot your business from a business standpoint, I really urge people, but at the same time, like, hey, we all need entertainment right now. Like, I'm down with like Miguel went on Instagram Live yesterday and sang to all of us. Like, it's great just seeing everybody just try to like show up. I love seeing you on live. Like, you never go on live.
Yeah.
I saw what was it called? Your immunity tea?
Yeah, immunity. That is actually good, But yeah, this thing like I agree. I think all those kind of things are cool to watch and see, and like I'm interested to see like what trends get made and what dance challenges continue to go and how far this push-up thing is going to go down. And, I think it's just cool. I think it's cool to see how humans interact with each other. Like people have to be around their families right now in this moment. And, like it's just funny.
I'm so glad I like Rich right now.
Yeah, like who's gonna break?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
what's gonna happen? Like how many people are just desperately trying to go outside? Who's gonna disappear for like an hour? I think it's a great time if you have a big house. This might be great. Everyone has their like quarters. Like you're on this swing, leave me alone.
Yeah, it's been hard with like the kids, especially my kids are so young. They can't really quite comprehend what's happening, of course.
Yeah.
And nor do you want like, the good thing with the kids is we don't like have the news on all day. Like, I think what the kids are going to remember from this moment, especially any of you parents listening, is they're going to remember how they felt. Like, was the house calm? Was it peaceful? Was it joyous? Was it happy? They're not going to remember how many hours of science you taught them.
Yeah.
So try to like give yourself some grace as well. So honestly, I've been like, our science class right now, Vince, we're baking. Like, we're gonna make muffins later. Like, you know what? Like, I feel like that is what, because people are so stressed out right now. I mean, these schedules, dude, have you seen the homeschooling schedules that came out that people were posting like on day one? It was like 7 a.m., wake up, chores, shower, wash your hair, braid it. 7:30, calisthenics outside the front yard. 7:40, math. Like, it was like these intense, unrealistic schedules. And like some days you just want to sit on the couch and cuddle your kids, because can you imagine like what they must be thinking right now? Kids of all ages.
Yeah, like
Overnight, with no warning, they lost all their friends.
Wow, yes, you got kind of dark there. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it, but I was just like, "Yo, they lost. How they lose their friends? You just made it seem like a bomb just happened or something. Like like they just lost all their friends." No, but
we need to remember what this is. This is really a big situation, and not get so hyper focused about 2:30 craft time in the kitchen.
Oh, I agree with you, because I feel like this is just the beginning.
Vince, stay with the beginning.
I'm just being honest.
Is this the beginning or just the end?
This is the beginning. Like, let's talk about this 2025 and let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? But like, I think kids are gonna I think a lot of kids are gonna grow up fast.
Yeah. Yeah, this is shaping kids for sure.
This is shaping everybody.
Yeah.
Like, you think restaurants like and hotels are gonna be operating like how we have been operating for so long?
Oh yeah, day one, I just plan to go
It's
down the
like,
street.
and I don't want to sound insensitive, but like the way people have been running their businesses are just like
Let's talk about that.
crazy.
How do you really feel about that?
Well, first I feel bad and I feel sad for a lot of people, but then like, you know, at the same time, kind of like, well, like a lot of this was kind of like self-created. Not obviously not like the pandemic and like people dying and then what happens after that. That's super bad, out of control. And
Talking
like,
about how we've created like low profit restaurants, you saying, or what?
well, there's so many like low profit businesses across the board, but yeah, like they're low profit, but then like based on partners or based on a name, these people are so over leveraged that like there's like groups that have $3-4 million in debt and they have like 8-10 restaurants,
Yeah.
and like
Times like this, they really
one
touch
bad
back.
week. They have one bad week and they have to lay off all their staff,
Yeah.
right? They have no cash reserves and they're doing whatever to make money. Like, it's just like showing us that like, and didn't you say that? I think you told me this, that 40% is in Michigan or like the world, America.
Country.
40% of the country is service-based businesses,
Mhm.
which then again is like scary. So now all these people are out of work. How many people do you think are gonna run right back to a restaurant after this? After
Yeah.
that off, like so. And
Well, here's my question: are these restaurants going to be here?
anyone that's over leveraged and doesn't have somebody who's backing them with a lot of money
Yeah.
is probably not going to be here.
Which
And
is
that's like the
crazy.
government steps in. And if the government steps in, like that's not going to help anything. That's a band-aid fix.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, but the thing you have to like open your eyes to is like, it's not like travel is a big thing for restaurants and hospitality.
Oh yeah.
Travel business is about to get hit hard, and so like, it's just a chain effect.
Mm-hmm.
Travel is down, less people are coming to Grand Rapids. That means less new people are eating out at restaurants. You add a virus there on top of that. Less local people want to eat out because they don't want to be around people because there's no
Right.
like it's just a chain effect. And so like, a lot of ways these people are running businesses is over leveraged, too big of a staff, uh, like, and so like what's like it's over like for a lot of people, and I feel sad like because now we're going to April 13th here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a month off. You still got to pay your utilities. You still got to pay your insurance. You still got to pay your taxes. You still got to
Right.
pay your rent.
Yeah.
All the stuff is still coming out. But
Mm-hmm.
you haven't been open. How many people does in a restaurant business, a small
Yeah.
local restaurant, have a year of cash reserves?
Right. They don't.
They don't.
All right. Now I'm thoroughly depressed, Vince. You
Sorry.
really,
I'm
God.
just sorry, guys, for that depressing moment. But listen, if you're one of these people who are, like the wall is caving in on you, your back is against the wall. Like I know it's easy for me to say, but like find a way,
Mm.
find a solution. I think it's great to assess everything and be like,
All
don't
right.
kick
Let's
yourself.
talk
Like
about
it's
some of
great.
the.
It's great to like assess and be like, it's bad. You have to like be realistic with yourself, but at the same time, I'm not somebody that just wallows in it's bad and there's nothing we can do. I'm so helpless. It's like no, like adjust. Like it's bad. We can do takeout. It's so bad that we have to resort to takeout delivery. Great. Now,
Right.
what can we do in takeout delivery to hit our numbers?
Right.
Right? Like, what do we have to do? Like, always be solution oriented. Always find a way. So, anyone who's in the dark, you own a salon, you do nails or restaurant, you're
Yeah.
scared. Like, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be upset. But now it's time to like take all that energy and fuel yourself to find a way and find a solution.
So why don't we talk about some of the great solutions that we've seen come out of this? Because I've seen so many incredible businesses pivoting. It's been really, really cool to watch. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you've paid attention, but a few that I'm impressed with are, like for example, my friend Lauren, who's an event planner. She's collaborating with a photographer and a wedding venue, and I think a fourth person as well. I think it's a caterer, And obviously, so many weddings have been postponed or delayed or canceled or held up. So they're creating basically a micro wedding. So for people that were supposed to be getting married now and in the next probably 4 months or whatever, they're creating these. Now again, that might be all changed as of now. It's shelter in place. I just realized, but it was like a micro wedding for 5 people, 6 feet apart. You get champagne, you get photos, da da da. So again, all I have to say is that regardless of who does that or anything else, I am personally am like you where I'm very solution oriented. I do to make glass half full. Let's figure this out. What can we do? And what I think is a hidden blessing of this moment is all I see. I should probably get out of my mail program before I do this podcast because do you hear all my emails coming in?
Yeah.
See, if I was like an expert in this, guys, I'd be like, oh, quit Outlook. I just quit Outlook. See, we're learning this whole virtual thing. But I think that one of the hidden blessings of a crisis like this is the creativity is unreal. You start like our friend AB DJ is doing virtual dance parties. And then my friend Samantha photographer, her husband he does what's it called? Like basically virtual broadcasting where it'll do a live stream on Facebook, on Instagram. And that's not what he does normally. But right now he's not working in his normal job. So I love seeing people doing like Leon and Son's curbside boxes of wine. Now maybe they've always been doing it, but I certainly didn't know it.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see how people are being creative, and even you offering delivery events. You know how long I've wanted you to be able to deliver. Like that's so cool. Like that's like in one way, I just think it's really cool. To see like even all the local fitness studios. So like our friend Marjorie with SweatNet GR, they normally have fitness classes all over the city. And now they're doing them on Instagram Live all the time. And you can actually donate. They show the Venmo of the instructor at the end. So if you want to give her like some money as a donation, you can do that. Wow. So I took a hip hop dance class from my living room the other day. Like, you know what? That to me is super inspiring.
Yeah, like me too. I just like everyone just doing like finding a way. Like I haven't like dug too deep in what people are doing exactly, but I have seen people.
You're in the thick of it.
Yeah, and so like for me, it's just like I feel for people. I see people doing cool things. Like it's great that everyone's pivoting and trying to find a way, right? And so I don't know. I'm trying to think of like something that really like stuck out to me. That I thought was a good idea. Like our friend from Amore, like Jenna, like I think she's doing it right. I think she has a great brand locally, and I feel like her making sure service people, hospitals are taken care of. Mm-hmm. I think that's like, I'm not saying she's doing that for a move. I'm just saying that I like how she's like handling all of it and making sure everyone's taken care of, and how she's like changing her menu up and like creating like you can get like Mexican, like she's being on her feet. She's being smart. She's being nimble. I think she's doing it really right. And I love her spirit of not giving up. The food industry part, I see like a lot of these manufacturers are now like helping make masks and like healthcare.
New Holland started making hand sanitizer today. New Holland Brewery.
Yeah. So I feel like that's like that's all like great and smart, and you get to see like how in a 2020 world how humans with different talents can come together and like make it better, and it starts making you start thinking like, man, if I think, and this is not fully fleshed out for me, but I do think that the way of new businesses, we're gonna have such a social impact now, like even bigger than just like, oh yeah, we do like an event. Like I think is like if I go do manufacturing, is like what am I doing for the world?
Oh yeah.
Right. And I think it's gonna be none of this like we all give money to American Cancer Foundation. It's gonna be like we created a pandemic thing. We all put millions of dollars into it, so this can never happen again. I think like we're gonna see the way businesses operate, like is gonna be amazing. So I'm excited. I'm excited for all that kind of stuff. I'm excited. as a 3 for the future. I keep putting myself in the future because the past and definitely the present right now is not looking too
know. Us number 2s that are in the present. But actually, for me, it's been good being an Enneagram 2 because being present oriented, that part of it, because I don't get too I don't find myself fast forwarding 1 year, 2 year and freaking out. Like I really am just taking it day by day.
Yeah.
And like, especially as like a mother of 2 now homeschooling. It's funny, there was this interesting post someone wrote about comparing what's going on now to homeschooling. And she's like, I'm a homeschooler for this is not homeschooling. When we began to homeschool, we had 1 year transitional period where we planned for it, we prepared for it, we got resources for it, the kids were prepared for it. This was an overnight unexpected with no one is prepared. No one has any clue what they're doing. And she's like, that's not home, this is survival. And it was just so comforting to read that because I mean, at least the people that I'm friends with or that I follow on, it's like everyone just really went from 0 to 100 with creating schools in their house and all these. Like my best friend sent me a video of her homeschool, and it literally could be like a state accredited preschool. It's so perfect. I'm like, let's just try to take it day by day. But yeah, it's funny that you are. I could see you being ready for the future, trying to get out of this. But isn't it kind of cool to see? Like, I feel like there are so many unexpected positives that have come out of this. Like, I obviously, for me, my kids are really little, and being forced to slow down and be with them all the time and cook with them and create these memories. Don't get me wrong, I want to lose my mind often, but I know I will never look back and regret having this time with them when they're still young and obsessed with me. Because pretty soon they're going to be, as you know, teenagers that want nothing to do with me.
Exactly.
I don't know. Are there any other unexpected positives you found? I mean, I get it. You're a restaurant owner, so you've been like so busy in the moment.
Yo, like honestly, because a lot of people were asking me like how I felt, and maybe like I'm not trying to say I'm so Mr. Cool Guy and emotionless, but honestly, I didn't feel anything. I just kind of went straight to like, what are we gonna do about it? And so,
Type 3, guys. Type 3.
like, I know this sounds insensitive, but like, Irie can go to 0 and I'll still be okay.
Yeah.
Like, it can fail tomorrow. Like, I don't.
And you don't have
I don't
like a staff of 30 people whose like families you've gotten to know. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you know how close you are to Jacob. Imagine if you had a staff of 30 people and you knew all their Jacobs and you knew all their riches. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
But still, though. You know?
Is this where we play the Heartless by the Weekend? We
It's
just
not even heartless. It just goes back to like care, and like, but then it's like tough love. The thing, that like built me, and it's kind of like, yeah, I care and things like that, and it's tough decisions. And I feel bad for a lot of people, but it goes back to like 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 what we're gonna do about it. So I don't know. I just kind of feel if I do feel anything, I kind of feel like in a weird way that like this is like supposed to happen.
yeah.
Part of the story, like, is meant to be this way.
Yeah.
And like, is this weird acceptance. I kind of got like day one.
Exact same way.
I got that day one. It's like, yep, I guess this is the story. Like,
Yeah. I think also when you are dealing with this type of thing, the more you try to resist it, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've really been leaning into it.
Me too. And I'm good. I'm at my best when things are bad.
You really
you know what I'm saying? I need that a lot. I need energy. I need back against the wall. I need competition.
Challenge too.
Like, I like being the best. Like, Vincent, if anything, things were getting too soft for me, and I was getting unmotivated.
You probably love too that people were probably like waiting for you to fail right now, and meanwhile you like crushed your first week at it. That's pretty cool.
I'm not gonna fail though. I had this whole video gonna drop on Instagram about that. Like, if you come from the ground up, like, you're not afraid to go back down, but two, you know what it takes.
Yeah.
It's real hard work. Like what you've done, what I've done, and people like us around the world. And so the last thing that like we think about is like failure and that kind of like I don't know how to, what's the right words, but like it doesn't scare us, like
Yeah.
because like cool, like if you go down in traffic, you know what to do, build back up. Like you're not afraid, like to the point, or like anything like that, or like even worried about those kind of things. Or I know like a lot of people, whether they want to see me win or lose, is kind of like regardless, like I'm going to win and find a way. It's
Yeah.
because like I come from that, right? So I even told you jokingly on the phone, like if it's Irie Construction, it's Irie Construction. Like we can pivot. Like we've built our whole restaurant out.
Yeah.
Like, no, Liz, seriously, we did, and it's beautiful in there.
Oh, I know. I know.
I know how
Yeah.
to like,
You're
dry,
right.
I know how to
Your
paint.
dad works.
Like I know how to pave like cement. Like the amount of like things that like we can do. And I guess maybe it's too much confidence. Like I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like
Well, I think if anything, you have a little bit of like, is it naivety? I think
ego
that's a
and
good
like
thing.
I lack the ego and it has to be this thing for me to win.
Correct.
Like it's by any means necessary for me. So
I
like
think
if
that's the way to do it.
if we get into radio, it's radio. If we're not a production company, I know how to do that too. We're doing a
Yeah.
production. Like it does not matter to me because like I know how to build things and I like to build things. And so like
Resourceful and solution oriented.
exactly. And so are you. And I think anyone who's listening to this podcast who relates to that, like you know what I'm talking about.
You just gave a virtual like, you know what's up.
Yeah, we all know what's up.
Yeah.
People that are not afraid to change their salon and into whatever it needs to be.
So I have a thought along that line. I'd like to hear your opinion on it. So I was talking to somebody recently who's a business owner,
Yeah.
remain anonymous, and I was talking to him, and it was just interesting. And something that I keep hearing from other business owners is that these are the types of things that, and I feel like I've read articles about this too. This is not a new concept, but they happen cyclically, and it's almost like you need them to happen because it cuts the fat.
Mm-hmm.
It pops the balloon. It gets rid of the unnecessary, the fluff, and it really makes you, restructure, reorganize to work more efficiently and to become a stronger company.
Your weaknesses. That's
Right.
why in a way it's hard for me to feel like I feel bad, but also don't.
Yeah.
Like if you're $1 million in debt and you're operating your business,
And just there, Vince is not talking about the individual staff that got laid off. I think you're probably more talking about the business owner potentially.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. I still
It's how I do things too much because people get upset at me.
I have a little compassion right now.
No, I have compassion, but if you weren't saving money, like you don't have money for your rent, whose fault is that?
You know, it's funny. I was thinking that
Unless you couldn't. Now, I understand if you're like a single mom or a single dad and you really were living paycheck to paycheck just to make it. I feel bad for you, and I want to do anything in my power to like help you.
Yeah.
If you had all the tools to not be in that situation.
Yeah. They always say like you should have 6 months saving for emergency, and I'm like, well, here we are. This is that emergency. Like, hopefully everyone has that.
Hopefully.
I know. So what else is on your mind right now? Aren't you glad I didn't ask how you feel? See, I know how to talk to a type 3.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, my mind is just geared to finding a way and helping how I can help.
Yeah. So that's a good point. So what have you been doing to help right now?
Like anyone that has questions, hit me up. Anyone that wants to joust and just talk and like sharpen our pencils together. Yeah, like anything people need, like really that I can do. Like I'll like for me, I'm one of those people you just have to ask like let me know and I can find a way. But I'm not don't think I'm constantly thinking like, but like you hit me be able to like think about it and like help. So I'm just trying to be a resource and provide value. Like if like literally I know like my crazy ideas work in times like this, so I'm just like continuing to like do that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is just emotional and just like I think people like my type of mindset during times when it's bad. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people are checking in because they know I'm going to give them that, like, whatever.
Yeah.
That, like, charged up, that, like, you know?
Yeah. You're not going to like turn them into a panic and a tailspin.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to freak them out.
I've had to mute some stories this week because, I'm realizing that, and this is a piece of advice for people, like, you can't just consume negativity all day long. And if you're online on your phone all day or on the news all day, it's going to be overwhelming, especially for, if you are someone that is a bit more emotional, you've got to set really strict boundaries to protect, because especially now, if you don't, you'll take it on your husband, you'll take it on your kids, you'll probably take it on your friends, your boss, your coworkers. So, because not to mention now, a lot of people, I'm talking about homeschooling. A lot of people, how I feel with homeschooling being ill-equipped, are feeling that way about working remotely. You know how many people are working remotely right now that have never worked remotely? They're like looking around for like the coffee room, like the break room, and
You're getting exposed now. Like,
we are.
you don't really work that hard, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I agree, though. I think it's good to, like, also, like, check your surroundings. Like, anyone, okay, and when it's soft, like, you just know. You feel me? You just know, like, yo, you can't handle homeschooling. What else? Like,
Having
what happens if
emotions
we had no
make
food?
people soft.
No, I mean soft, like helpless,
Oh,
and being emotional. You're emotional and helpless. I like. We're not.
Vince is out.
You're not in my. You're not in my compound. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like, yeah, I have to say though, people have been pretty resilient and like figuring it
More for being good moms and dads. They have been neglecting their kids for like 6 years because they want to build their thing. I'm seeing after being good mom and dads now, like they can't fake it. They actually have to be around their kids. Like all this stuff is like getting like cool to watch and see.
You're so evil, Vince. You're like enjoying it, aren't you?
Am I wrong though?
No, you're 100% right. And I think everyone agrees
How
with
many dads who are never home are actually home right now, having a conversation with their kid? They
There's
never
a
had a real
meme.
conversation with their kid, like because it's like, yep, I got to go to work. See you in a week or whatever it is. Now they sit down and listen to their daughter, their son, and actually have a conversation with them.
It's a fact. There's also a really funny meme about I'll never ask what a stay-at-home mom does again.
Yeah, right.
True, because a lot of, yeah, just like you said, a lot of a lot of my friends who's like a lot of my friends, they don't work outside of the home, but their husbands do, and their husbands have pretty intense jobs.
Yeah.
So they've been in offices or traveling, and yeah, I think, and also many of them, everyone's job right now. Additionally, another thing to remember is that their jobs are more stressful now than they've been in recent years. So you compound the fact that now they've got added work pressure, plus the kids. It's just I think it's not just going to be an economic breakdown. It's going to be a mental health pandemic.
Yeah.
The amount of people that I know are just dealing with extreme anxiety.
Office.
Then
Seriously though.
I don't know. I think that there's some people with real struggles right now. I don't think it's being soft if you have anxiety or. You are so funny. Well, I'll speak for
No,
myself.
don't get me wrong, guys, because if you're gonna take this such a bad way, listen. I feel sorry for you. I want to support people, but
Well, why don't you give a little background on why you don't quite understand why everyone has anxiety? Because I think part of it is from your upbringing. Like
no,
your
I feel
able.
like mental health things are real. I never want to like say that someone doesn't deal with depression and anxiety, but I just think is the way society sets things up that then makes people find a pill, find something to do, and it's just like it's okay if you're anxious.
Yeah.
It's okay if you're not happy every single day. Like we're not having those conversations. We're having like I'm not happy. That means I'm depressed. It's like no, you're probably not happy. Why are you not happy? Well, I don't know. Well, but if you know you're not happy, you do know what's making you unhappy.
Right.
Let's like go down this questionnaire and let's like figure out where it's coming from. Now, if it's like deep, right? I don't think it's great to like. I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but like numb people out,
Yeah.
and whatever. And if a pandemic like puts you in a depression or puts you in anxiety, like I have to laugh because it's like, well, then you weren't built for anything. Like people went through World War II, people went through the Holocaust, like people went through slavery.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting at home and now you have severe depression. Like sorry, like I'm not trying to be like an asshole. I'm just saying that like
Yeah, I think perspective is definitely important. I've actually been thinking a lot about like the Holocaust and Nazis are not banging at
listen, like
my door. I want to hide in my house right now. And I think having perspective, at least it helps me. Now, I will say I do think there are some mental or there's some brain chemistry actual reasons why people can't necessarily talk themselves out of anxiety or depression. So but there's a difference between like chronic anxiety and like feeling anxious. And I think what we're just trying to say is like it's okay to kind of we're all feeling pretty anxious right now.
I think it's okay to feel how you feel and like doesn't mean you have to always like fix it with a pill.
So I have an interesting story. I felt
Well, who am I?
anxiety.
23 years old and you suffered from anxiety and depression your whole life. I'm not trying to like negate your feelings right now, guys. So whoever's listening to this is probably like pissed off. It's
I
like,
had
well,
some.
you don't even know what you're talking about. I think that's disrespectful. The whole thing. Because I know people listen to the intent to reply, not actually listen to people what they have to say. I'm saying if you've been struggling with it your whole life, I understand, and I'm here for you to make this clear again and reiterate myself. But it does make me think on the other side how other people get into these spirals.
Yeah.
And it's like not for you to feel bad about yourself or feel bad on somebody else, but just be aware and like how can we think about this critically? Like what is the actual solution?
So the Life Coach School podcast put out a series last week called Handling Chaos that I highly recommend, and we can link to it in the show notes. And Brooke Castillo, the host of that, does suffer from chronic anxiety. So she speaks firsthand about how you can control that. So we can share that in case that's a helpful resource for some people. Now, I will say this week, I actually felt anxiety for like the first time. And I think that's what's happening right now is there's a lot of people out there. Brooke talked today on her podcast that she's like, I don't understand what the big deal is. I feel this all the time. But most people that don't suffer with anxiety are probably feeling a bit more anxious now than normal. So I know the funny part is that one of the symptoms of the coronavirus is having tightness in your chest. And literally I will put the news on. It went away once I realized what was happening, but I would put the news on. I got little tightness in my chest around the heart. And it actually happened the first night I was putting the kids to bed after they were sent home from school indefinitely. I was running up the stairs to go put Asher down. I was like laying in his bed with him, and my heart, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get like a deep breath. And I was like, what is going on? And I was convinced I had the coronavirus. So I Googled it. And, obviously if you have the coronavirus, the tightness doesn't go away. Whereas if you're just feeling anxious, it's usually because you're
you might get, like seatbelt.
Right. So I noticed
Knocked out of you feeling.
So if you're feeling that, I recommend not watching the news all day.
Yeah, don't watch the news, guys. The news's job is to literally either educate you or put fear in you. That's it.
Literally their job. Correct.
That's what they're there for. So maybe watch a movie.
Listen to a podcast.
Listen to our podcast.
About that, what have you been up to? You're on your weekend off. You're also working less hours in terms of your open. What?
I'm always working. I always stay busy.
So how are you staying busy right now? Because obviously you're not able to socialize or, whatever else.
Believe it or not, I'm more introverted than I come off. So like the Sunday where I need my 4 hours, I just got 6, which makes me feel better. So
yeah, that's nice.
So for me, it's just no, I'm good. I just been doing work, and actually it's more work because now.
Yeah. So tell us, what do you do what's work like on your 6 hours?
You're doing more work. You're doing live now. The kids You see that blog post? Like, I feel like anyone who's been busy is like definitely busier, especially from an owner perspective. Unless you gave up. You gave up. You have nothing to do. But you didn't give up. You got a lot to do right now. Right? So that's how I look at it.
Okay. I like it. I'm glad you got your 6 hours.
No, but don't you agree though? Like, aren't you busier?
Vince, I haven't had alone time.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
I haven't had a minute to myself in 9 days.
yeah, even though I cut my hours, like, God,
I'm not. I'm an extrovert to the core, but
great for you.
what did you say?
It must be great for you.
Why do you say that?
No, it's being funny.
Oh.
Like
Well, it's interesting because what'd you say?
being around your kids all the time and being an extrovert.
Oh, no, honestly, I don't mind being around my kids because my kids never went to daycare. So this actually isn't super new to me because this was the first year my kids were in school all day. Now, so just to be clear, I'm not unfamiliar with having kids home and trying to work. The tricky part is that they're in school. I've never had to teach them before. So it's different when it's summer or after school, or they go to preschool for 2 hours. When they would come home from preschool, I wasn't supposed to teach them.
Yeah.
So it's I just don't have teaching experience. So but I've never had the luxury of like sending my kids to daycare for 40 hours while I did lemon bowl work. This is the first year I've ever had like a full day to do work.
Yeah.
So luckily, and it's interesting, I'm realizing as I say that, Vince, that's probably why I created an online 4-hour a week business, because I never had more than 4 hours a week to work. So I think this is going to probably spur a lot of people to create smarter businesses.
There you go. Liz, so guys, some more context, because we're still doing the podcast right now. Like, Liz knows how I feel about the restaurant industry for the last like 2 years. I've been telling you.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, it's like, it's not like I'm like, oh my God, woe is me. In a weird way, I'm like, yep. I'm like, yeah. Like, after my second year in business, like, oh, this business is so, like, there's too many holes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good.
Maybe if you had a couple kids around and no time to work, you wouldn't have created a restaurant, Vince.
Yeah, well, I was like 20.
I'm kidding.
There's not many kids at 20. No, but I'm just saying, like, it makes you start being smarter and thinking about, like, I think it's a constant reminder that we're in a different world.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, literally, like, the joke earlier about the Snapchat chef, it's funny how I put more value on owning a restaurant than doing Snapchat chef, and seeing the 6-year or 4-year progression from that.
Yeah.
That would have been the smartest thing to spend my time doing. Like, you compared it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, it would be smarter to like go build the next McDonald's or next Chick-fil-A. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But right now, that's not the case. Right? And so I think, to your point, it's going to make people who are smart or people who see opportunity like realize how powerful the internet is and how powerful social media is. And it's like, we're gonna have a whole different business model after this.
Yeah.
And so it's just making me think about things just differently.
Yeah.
What do we put value on? And how, like, it wasn't important to me to post every day on Instagram. Right? Now think about it. It was important for me to take 2 hours out of the day and have like a blogging side of my website.
Yeah. Joke's on you now, huh?
Right? So I think a lot of people are in that position. And it's great that we're pivoting and we're doing delivery and takeout, but what's after that? What's next, guys?
I also want to just give a shout out right now, and I think this is another reminder. Women in the workplace often become obsolete once they have kids, because you know, people think like, oh, she's about to have a baby. She's not going to come back to work. She's going to be distracted. She's not going to be a good worker. And this is something that a lot of women deal with. I mean, I know women, I've had bosses that hesitated getting pregnant because of like a project or a due date for something or a conference or some sort of deadline. And I just want to say that, like, if anything, I've proven that because I had kids at home with me working, like we all are right now, I created the most efficient, high profit business because I didn't have, like, you know, Vince, you physically work how many hours a day? 14?
Yeah, we're over 100 hours a week.
Right. Well, I didn't have over 100 hours a week to work. And because of that, I created a business that could run without needing 100 hours of physical labor. So I point that out to maybe from this, there'll be some really cool, unique, creative, different businesses come out of it. What's going to come out of everyone being at home with their families with limited resources and time to think and creativity? Like, I can't wait to see what happens.
Me too. I'm like excited. I don't like this stuff like gets me hyped.
Me too.
Like, guys, I like
Weird that it hypes us up because it really does hype me up.
listen. I was just learning about how to flip cars, guys. Like, like for me, it's like, bro, what is good?
Yeah. Right. It's all about, so I think, like, in wrapping up too, it's all about your mindset. And fear is nothing more than a thought in your head. And you have, if any time right now, you guys, the only thing, what?
What does fear stand for again?
Tell me.
False evidence appearing real.
Oh my God, I never heard that little gem before.
Fear is fake. To be afraid is not real.
It's just a thought. It's nothing more than a thought. And right now, when there's so little, literally, I don't even have control about leaving my house right now. There's no control except I can control every thought in my head. I'm not saying I'm an expert at it, and I'm not saying I'm good at it, but I'm fully aware that my thoughts are up to me. And you can change your thoughts, and that will right away change your feelings.
Change your thoughts, change your feelings, change your perspective, find a way. Thank you guys for listening to episode 24 of the Irie Lemon podcast. Please share with a friend. Tell your mom, tell your sister. Please stay safe. Social distancing is real. Germaphobes, please wash your hands twice. Like, take a shower, please. I know everyone's at home. I ain't going. Please take a shower when you're at home. The amount of people probably skipping showers must be alarming rate right now. So stay clean, stay healthy, and thank you guys for listening to this episode.
Yeah, thank you. Tag us if you're listening. We'd love also any thoughts or suggestions for future guests, because now that we're virtual, we can have guests on from anywhere in the world. All right, guys, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.